Right. Today concept is bug life cycle. First concept of bug life cycle. So we discussed STLC, test planning over, test development way over, test execution over, result analysis over. Next concept to bug tracking and reporting. So first concept to bug tracking. Bug tracking. Today concept is bug tracking. So before going to bug tracking, you should know what is bug. First, defective, bug, error, fault, failure. Fault, failure. You should know these are the what are the main differences between bug tracking. Like so, if you want just you should know only one thing. So if you want job in US, compulsory you should have ISTQB certification. That is very important. ISTQB certification, that is manual certification, that is very important for testers. So compulsory if you have ISTQB certification, half of the job మీ జేబులో ఉన్నట్టే. సో ఐఎస్టిక్యూబి సర్టిఫికేషన్ కూడా చేయాలి, కంపల్సరీ చేయాలన్నమాట, మీరు యూఎస్ఏలో ఉంటారు కాబట్టి. సో డిఫెక్ట్ అని ఎప్పుడు అంటారంటే టెస్టింగ్ ఏరియాలో డిఫెక్ట్ అంటారు. ఏదన్నా ఒకటి దాన్ని ఒక మిస్టేక్ని మీరు ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసినప్పుడు దాన్ని డిఫెక్ట్ అని అంటారు. అది టెస్టింగ్ ఏరియా. అదే డెవలపర్స్ దాన్ని యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తే దాన్ని బగ్ అంటారు. ఇది డెవలప్మెంట్ ఏరియా. ఎర్రర్, సో కోడ్ రాసినప్పుడు అది ఏదైనా మిస్టేక్స్ ఉంటే దాన్ని ఎర్రర్ అంటారు కోడ్ రాసినప్పుడు. సో ఫాల్ట్ అంటే కోడ్ ప్రాపర్గా ఉంది కానీ అవుట్పుట్ రావట్లేదు, దాన్ని ఫాల్ట్ అంటారు. ఫెయిల్యూర్, ఆఫ్టర్ ఇన్స్టాలింగ్ ద అప్లికేషన్ ఇంటూ క్లయింట్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ అంటారు. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెన్సెస్. సో డిఫెక్ట్ అంటే టెస్టింగ్ ఏరియా, డెవలపర్స్ దాన్ని యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తే దాన్ని బగ్ అంటారు. సో ఎర్రర్ అంటే కోడ్ రాశాము, కోడ్లో ఏమన్నా ప్రాబ్లం ఉంటే మిస్టేక్స్ ఉంటే దాన్ని ఎర్రర్ అంటారు. కోడ్ ప్రాపర్గా ఉంది అది రన్ అవ్వట్లేదు దాన్ని ఫాల్ట్ అంటారు. ఫెయిల్యూర్ అంటే ఆఫ్టర్ ఇన్స్టాలింగ్ ద అప్లికేషన్ ఇంటూ క్లయింట్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ దెన్ దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్. దీస్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెన్సెస్. దిస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ విల్ బి దేర్ ఇన్ ISTQB certification. Compulsory you should have ISTQB certification if it is in US or UK or Australia, Canada and Ireland, New Zealand. So these are the main countries. Compulsory you should have ISTQB certification, then only you can get job easy. సో ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ సర్టిఫికేషన్ హాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ది జాబ్ జేబులో ఉన్నట్టే. ఐఎస్క్యూబీ సర్టిఫైడ్ అని రెజ్యూమ్లో పైన పెట్టుకుంటే ఇక అంతే, మీకు కాల్ ఈజీగా వచ్చేస్తుంది, మొత్తం ప్రాసెస్ అనేది ఈజీగా జరుగుద్ది. సో ఐఎస్క్యూబీ సర్టిఫికేషన్ రాసేటప్పుడు ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతారు అనమాట. సో డిఫెక్ట్, బగ్, ఎర్రర్, ఫాల్ట్, ఫెయిల్యూర్. రైట్. టుడే కాన్సెప్ట్ బగ్ లైఫ్ సైకిల్. టుడే కాన్సెప్ట్ బగ్ లైఫ్ సైకిల్. Bug life cycle. So what is bug life cycle? So we will discuss today. సో ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ మ్యాప్. అంత ఈజీగా రాదు, నేను ఈ మౌస్తో తీస్తాను కాబట్టి అంత ఈజీగా అంటే అంత క్లియర్గా ఉండదు, బట్ నోట్స్లో మాత్రం చాలా క్లియర్గా ఉంటుంది. ఫస్ట్ ఎఫ్ఆర్ఎస్ డాక్యుమెంట్ దే విల్ సెండ్ వన్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ కాపీ డెవలపర్స్, అనదర్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ కాపీ టెస్టర్స్. FRS document, they will send one set of copy developers, another set of copy testers. Based on the customer requirements, so after getting the requirements, they will divide the whole project into some modules. That is called high-level designing. They will divide the whole project into some modules. That is called high-level designing. So each and every module, they will divide some sub-modules. That is called low-level designing. So each and every module they will divide a build wise, and that first build they will sending to testing department. This is the build one. then testers will do testing. Based on the customer requirement, this build is properly developed or not, they will do testing. If it is developed, stop 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 testing. Based on the customer requirement. Already we got FRS. So based on the customer requirement, this build is properly developed or not, we will do testing. So if it is developed, so stop testing. If it is developed, stop testing. If it is not developed, then we will give the status new. We will give the status new, and we will raise the defect to developers. We will raise the defect to developers. Developers will think, is this really defect or not? If they feel yes, defect, then they will give the status open. Then they will give the status open. Then they will give the status open, and they will rectify or fix it. Then they will rectify or fix it. We can use both terms, rectify or fix it. Yeah, rectify or fix it. So they will rectify the problem, and once again they will sending to testing department as build to, as build to. So once again we will do testing based on the customer requirement. This build is properly rectified or not. Once again we will do testing. If it is properly rectified, then we can give the status closed. Then we can give the status closed. So if it is not rectified, once again we will give the status reopen. We will give status reopen, and we will raise the defect to developers. Next, developers once again they will think, is this really defect or not? If they feel, once again they will give the status open, they will rectify, once again they will sending to testing department as build 3. This process continuously we will do. So sometimes developers will feel this is not at all defect. So they will feel it is not at all defect. Then they will give status rejected. They will give status rejected. If they feel this is not at all defect, then they will give status reject, reject, or tester's error, or tester's mistake. If they feel defect, then they will accept. Otherwise, they will not accept sometimes. So that time they will give status reject or tester's error or tester's mistake. Sometimes they are also confused అది డిఫెక్ట్ కాదని వాళ్ళకు కూడా కన్ఫ్యూజ్ ఉంది. In that situation they will give status hold. In that situation they will give status hold. They are also confused, is it really defect or not? In that situation they will give status hold. So they are also confused, we raised the defect, they are also confused, is this really defect or not అనేది వాళ్ళకు కూడా డౌట్ ఉంది. అప్పుడు they will give status hold. Sometimes they will give status as for design, as for design, as for design, as for design. మౌస్ తో రాస్తాను కదా, కొంచెం కరెక్ట్ గా రాదు. as for design, as for design. So sometimes they will give status as for design. As for design means, so newly actually customer FRS, in the customer FRS he said he want two buttons in the applications. For example, he want two buttons in the applications. So that FRS we got, and the developers also they got that FRS. But next day he came to company and he said three buttons in the application. Based on the customer requirements, developers will develop three buttons. So we got this application. We will treat as a this is the defect. Actually, we know FRS, in the FRS customer mentioned two buttons in the application, but developer three buttons. So we will raise the defect to developers. They will give status only one line, that is as for design. As for design means newly customer requirement added. That is the reason we developed like this and meaning అనమాట. As for design means newly customer requirement, customer came to company and he gave new requirement. That's the reason we developed like this. So if they give as for design, that means newly customer requirement given, right? Here we have 6 statuses. One new status given by tester, open status is given by developers, and reopen given by tester, close given by tester, fixed given by developer, fixed given by developer, rejected given by developer. 6 స్టేటస్ ఉంటాయి. అందులో 3 మనవి 3 వాళ్ళవి అనమాట. ఇది కంపల్సరీ గుర్తు పెట్టుకోవాలి. ఫస్ట్ వన్స్ అగైన్ ఐ విల్ రిపీట్ యూ. ఇక్కడ హియర్ we have 6 status. New status given by testers, open status given by developer, and reopen tester, closed tester, fixed developers, rejected developers. These are the 6 statuses. So whenever you are working with the quality center, we can get these 6 statuses. I will teach you quality center also, right? First, FRS document, they will send one set of copy developers, another set of copy testers. Based on the customer requirements, developers will divide the whole project into some modules. So that is called high level designing. Each and every module divided into some sub modules. So that is called low level designing. Each and every sub module they will divide it build wise, and they will develop build wise, and they will send it to testing department. So already they got FRS. Based on the customer requirement, this build is properly developed or not. Testers will do testing. If it is developed, stop testing. If it is not developed, then they will give status new and they will raise the defect to developers. Then developers will think, is this really defect or not? If they feel yes, then they will give the status open and they will rectify the defect and they will send it to testing department once again as a build 2. Once again, testers will do testing based on the customer requirements if this defect is really rectified or not. If they feel yes, then they will give the status closed. So if it is not rectified, then they will give the status reopen and once again they will send it to testing department. Development department. Then developers will think, is this really defect or not? If they feel yes, then they will give status open and they will rectify the problem. Once again, they will send it to testing department as build 3. Sometimes developers also confused. In that situation, they will give hold. Sometimes the developers will not accept the defect. So then that time they will give status reject. So sometimes they will give status as per design. As per design means customer requirement added. That meaning as per design means based on the customer requirements we developed like this. So first customer came to company, he gave 2 buttons in the application. He said one requirement, that is 2 buttons in the application, the FRS he mentioned. So we got that document. So but developers developed 3 buttons. We will treat as a defect. So we will raise the defect to developers. So then developers will give status as per design. As per design means newly customer requirement added. This is the bug life cycle. Very, very important. Whenever you are facing the interview, that time they will ask you like, just tell me your bug life cycle. So just we should tell like this. So if you tell, then you can get job. So it's very easy concept, simple concept. Here we have 6 statuses: new, open, reopen, close, fixed, rejected. Right. Next, defect profile template. Next, reporting. We got one defect. We need to raise the defect. How to raise the defect? If you do WhatsApp or message or missed call or so they will not accept. So compulsory we should maintain one template. So if you keep the mail, they will not accept. If you do WhatsApp, they will not accept. Compulsory we should maintain one format. So that is called defect profile template. Some small companies they will use this template, but big companies they will use Quality Center or Bugzilla or Jira. So if you want communication purpose, so if you got defect, you want to raise the defect to developers. So if you want to raise the defect to developers, compulsory we should follow defect profile template or some companies, small companies, they will use defect profile template. If it is big company, they will use Quality Center or Jira or Bugzilla. So I will teach you Quality Center. Some small companies, they will follow defect profile template. What is defect profile template? We will discuss. Defect ID. ఇందులో ఏమేమి ఫీల్డ్స్ ఉంటాయో చూడండి. డిఫెక్ట్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్, స్టెప్స్ ఫర్ రీప్రొడ్యూసిబిలిటీ, స్టెప్స్ ఫర్ రీప్రొడ్యూసిబిలిటీ ఆర్పి, సబ్మిటర్, డేట్ ఆఫ్ సబ్మిషన్, వర్షన్ నెంబర్, బిల్డ్ నెంబర్, assigned to. These are the fields. Whatever we are learning today concept, very, very important. Whatever we are learning today, it is very, very important. Defect ID 01. Defect description, clear not working. Clear not working. So steps were I have taken. Just we need to mention I have taken 10 in the place I have taken I have taken 10 in the place of value 1. Sorry, have taken use wow, oh my god, మొత్తం పోయింది. Right, wait once again. Defect ID, defect description, steps for reproducibility, steps, submitter, date of submission, version number, build number. What happened to this system today? Defect ID, defect description, steps for reproducibility, submitter, date of submission, version number, build number, assigned to. Defect ID 01, defect description, add button not working, this is the template. Defect ID 01, defect description, add not working, add button not working, Steps for reproducibility. What steps you followed we should mention here. ఏ స్టెప్స్ అయితే ఫాలో అయ్యారా ఇక్కడ మెన్షన్ చేయాలి. Have taken 10 in the place of value 1. Have taken 10 in the place of value 1. Have taken 20 in the place of value 2. If I click add button, it is showing result 40. So what steps you followed we should mention here. సో స్టెప్స్ ఫర్ రీప్రొడ్యూసబిలిటీ మీన్స్ ఏ స్టెప్స్ అయితే ఫాలో అయ్యారో ఆ స్టెప్స్ అక్కడ మెన్షన్ చేయాలి. హ్యావ్ టేకెన్ యాడ్ బటన్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ అని డిఫెక్టివ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ రాశాము. సో యాడ్ బటన్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ అంటే ఏ స్టెప్స్ ఫాలో అయితే వర్క్ అవ్వలేదో చెప్పాలి. ఇక్కడ హ్యావ్ టేకెన్ 10 in the place of value 1. I have taken 20 in the place of value 2. If I click on add button, it is showing 40. Submitter Akhil Reddy. Akhil. Date of submission. Date 8/12/2016. Version number 8. Build number 3. Assigned to field filled by development lead. Based on the defect, he will fill the field. Based on the defect, he will assign to one defect. He will assign to one developer. Based on the defect, so he will assign to one developer anamata. So assigned to field filled by development lead. Development lead will fill the assigned to field. Development lead will fill the assigned to field. So this is the defect profile template. Defect ID, defect description, steps for reproducibility, submitter, date of submission, version number, value number, assigned to. These are the fields. These are the fields in the defect profile template. So దీనితో STLC is completed. STLC software testing life cycle contains 6 phases: test planning, test development, test execution, result analysis, bug tracking and reporting. So 6 phases completed. So next pending concepts. Pending concept is first concept test design techniques. First concept test design techniques. What do you mean by technique? A complex task solved by very simple way. So that's why that is called technique. Technique is nothing but a complex task solved by very simple way. So that is called technique. So next concept test design techniques. There are two techniques available in manual testing. One is BVA, second one is ECP. BVA means boundary value analysis. ECP means equivalence class partition. BVA. First we will discuss BVA. BVA means boundary value analysis. Boundary value analysis. Second one is ECP. ECP means equivalence class partition. There are two techniques available in manual testing. One is boundary value analysis. Second one is ECP, equivalence class partition. There are two techniques. First we will discuss boundary value analysis. Customer want one application. In that application, that username field should take minimum 9 characters. First we will discuss BVA. BVA means boundary value analysis. So customer wants one application. In that application, he want one username field. That username field should take minimum 9 characters, maximum 999 characters. That is the customer requirement. So you want one application. In that application, you want 9 character the username field. In that username field should take minimum 9 characters, maximum 999 characters. So this is the customer requirements we need to test. So if you want to test this field, compulsory we should take 990 inputs. 9 to 999, we should take 990 inputs. So it is very difficult. So if you want to take the 990 inputs, so if you want to test that username field, it will take months time. It will take months time. We should take 9 characters, 10 characters, 11 characters, 12 characters, 13 characters, 14 characters, 15 characters, like up to 999 characters we should take. It is very difficult. So in that situation, we will use technique. We will use technique. So here we will divide. We will concentrate only on boundaries. Concentrate only on boundaries. Lower bound minus 1, LB minus 1. Lower bound minus 1. Lower bound. Lower bound plus 1. Upper bound minus 1. Upper bound. Upper bound plus 1. Right. We will divide boundary wise. Lower bound minus 1. Actually, lower bound is 9. Lower bound minus 1, 8. Lower bound plus 1, 10. Upper bound minus 1, 998. Upper bound 999. Hmm. Upper bound plus 1000. So we will take only 6 inputs and we will do testing. So that's why that is called boundary value analysis. We will concentrate only on boundaries. First, in between 4 values, these are valid inputs. With the valid inputs, if you do testing, that is called positive testing. That is called positive testing. Valid inputs. So 92999 is the valid inputs. With the valid inputs, if you do testing, that is called positive testing. Other than valid inputs, if you take like 8 characters, if we take like 8 characters or 1000 characters, so that is called invalid inputs. With the help of invalid inputs, if you do testing, that is called negative testing. So here we will take only 6 inputs. Only we will take only 6 inputs. So lower bound minus 1 and upper bound plus 1, both are invalid inputs. With the help of invalid inputs, if you do testing, that is called negative testing. So positive testing we are doing here, negative testing also we are doing. Once again I will repeat. Just test design techniques. First one, boundary value analysis. So this username field should take minimum 9 characters, maximum 999 characters. So here lower bound minus 1 is, lower bound is 8, lower bound minus 1 is 8, lower bound is 9, lower bound plus 1, 10, upper bound minus 1, 998, upper bound 999, upper bound plus 1, 1000. So with the help of valid inputs, these are the valid inputs. With the help of valid inputs, if you do testing, that is called positive testing. So these are the invalid inputs. First one and the last one is the invalid inputs. With the help of invalid inputs, if you do testing, that is called negative testing. This is negative testing. These are the invalid inputs. Customer is said that username field should take, the username field should take minimum 9 characters, maximum 999 characters. So with the help of first in between 4 values, if you do testing, that is called valid inputs. So with the help of valid inputs, if you do testing, positive testing. So 8 and then 1000, it is the invalid inputs. With the help of invalid inputs, if you do testing, that is called negative testing. So positive testing we will do here and negative testing also we will do here. So This is the boundary value analysis. We will concentrate only on boundaries. Here we are not taking 990 inputs. Here we are taking only 6 inputs. Valid inputs and invalid inputs. Only with the help of only valid inputs, if you do testing, that is called positive testing. If with the help of invalid inputs, if you do testing, that is called negative testing. Here we are doing positive testing as well as negative testing also. This concept is called, we are concentrating only on boundaries. So that's the reason we can call it is a boundary value analysis. Boundary value analysis. Right, over. Next, ECP. Next, ECP. ECP means equivalence class partition. ECP means equivalence class partition. Equivalence class partition. So we have one username field. Customer is saying, so the username field should take minimum 4 to 12 characters. All are small letters. All are small letters, and the username should take alphabets also, numeric values also. That is the customer requirement. So he want one username field. That username field should take 4 to 12 characters, and all are small letters, and we can take numeric values also. So now we need to create test data, valid data, invalid data, valid data, invalid data. So this is test data. A, B, C, D. Now, 4 to 12 characters. Greater than 4 valid. Less than 4 invalid. Mm, less than 12 valid. Greater than 12 invalid. A, B, C, D valid. Cap A, B, C, D invalid. Alphabets valid. Sorry, numeric value is valid. 1, 2, 3, 4. So special letters plus, minus, star, something. Special letters invalid. With the help of valid inputs, if you do testing, that is called positive testing. With the help of invalid inputs, if you do testing, that is called negative testing. Here also we will do positive testing and negative testing. సార్ దీనికి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటంటే అది రేంజ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్పుట్, ఒక రేంజ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అంటే చాలా పెద్దది ఏంటి, ఒక యూజర్ నేమ్ ఫీల్డ్ షుడ్ టేక్ ఇన్ని క్యారెక్టర్స్ అని పెద్ద వాల్యూ ఉన్నప్పుడు మాత్రం బౌండరీ వాల్యూ అనాలిసిస్ యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాము. సో ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ స్మాల్ వీ విల్ యూజ్ ఈక్వలెన్స్ క్లాస్ పార్టీషన్. సో ఈక్వల్లీ వీఆర్ పార్టీసింగ్ డివైడింగ్ అన్నమాట. సో అందుకని we can say equivalence class partition. Equally we are dividing. So that's why we can call it is a equivalence class partition. These are the two techniques. Whenever you are working with any software company, we will use these two techniques. Okay, right. And moreover, next tomorrow last class, our class manual testing class, tomorrow going to last class. Monday onwards we can enter into Selenium. Tomorrow I will teach you last class environment, models and terminology. So tomorrow is the last class, and Monday onwards we can enter into Selenium. This is the plan. So this is today's session. Today we discussed very